Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that honestly feels absolutely crucial right now. We're looking at Cal Newport's paradigm-shifting 2016 book, Deep Work. It's just a fascinating look at what it actually takes to focus. You know, right when smartphones have basically become an extension of our arms, social media is constantly fighting for our attention, and the modern workplace has made actual, sustained concentration feel like a total relic of the past. So get comfortable, go ahead and put that phone on silent, and let's figure out how we can get back to doing work that actually matters. Let's kick things off with a pretty confronting question. When was the last time you worked for 2 or more hours in a state of complete focus? And I mean, really think about it. Not working while occasionally checking an email thread. Not working with 10 browser tabs open and a messaging app blinking away in the background. Just working completely and solely on one difficult thing. Well, for the vast majority of us, that experience has become incredibly rare. And as we're going to see, that rarity isn't just some accident. It's actually a structural byproduct of our modern environment. Section 1. The neurological cost of distraction. Let's transition right into the science here, because open-plan offices and those constant Slack messages aren't just annoying, they're actively draining our brains. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this concept called attention residue, identified by researcher Sophie Leroy. We tend to think we can just quickly pivot from a big project to check our inbox and then pivot right back without any penalty, right? Well, the science says absolutely not. Picture this. You're deep into writing a complex piece of code or drafting a difficult proposal, and you get a quick message asking if you want donuts in the break room. You reply yes and go back to work. But here's the kicker. When you switch from one task to another, a portion of your attention actually remains stuck on that previous task. The more frequently you switch, the more this residue accumulates. So as a result, you bring significantly less cognitive capacity to whatever you're currently trying to do. That quick glance at your messages, it leaves a cognitive debt that literally sabotages your focus. And honestly, it gets even worse with what we can call the smartphone tax. Our relationship with technology is not neutral, guys. Every single tool we adopt lays a claim on our finite attention. But what's truly startling is the research around our phones. Studies consistently show that even the mere presence of a smartphone on your desk, and we're talking even if it is turned completely off and placed face down, measurably reduces your available cognitive capacity. No way, right? But it's true. It's almost like the phone acts as a giant magnet, actively zapping your brain's battery. So the distraction isn't just a behavioral habit of picking the phone up. The distraction is neurological. Your brain is expending actual energy just to ignore the device. Section 2. Deep versus shallow work. Let's slow the pacing down for a second and introduce Cal Newport's deceptively simple dichotomy that serves as the antidote to all this. That neurological reality sets the stage perfectly for this breakdown. On one side, we have deep work. This is cognitively demanding. It is performed in a completely distraction-free state. It pushes your cognitive limits, and crucially, it creates new value. Think of a writer crafting a crucial chapter or a strategist modeling a new business plan. On the flip side, we have shallow work. These are the logistical tasks, the endless email threads, the status update meetings, the basic data entry. They're often performed while distracted, they don't require much mental effort, and they're super easy to replicate. The real tragedy here, our modern knowledge economy has structurally optimized for the shallow side. We've literally built workplaces that champion constant availability over actual focused execution. So, do you recognize the pattern of shallow work colonizing your own professional life? Take a quick beat here. Consider how much of your typical Tuesday is actually spent pushing your cognitive limits to create new value, versus just managing the logistics of your job. If you're like most people, shallow work has slowly but surely taken over your calendar, completely crowding out the space you need to do anything truly meaningful. Section 3. The psychology of focus. This is where we elevate the discussion beyond simple productivity hacks and look at what actually brings human beings genuine fulfillment. Because Newport's argument isn't just about trying to be a more productive worker bee, it's fundamentally about discovering what actually brings us deep happiness. Enter the flow state. Researcher Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent decades looking into what makes human beings genuinely happy. Not just momentarily pleased, but deeply, profoundly satisfied. And he found the answer in flow. It's that incredible state of complete absorption in a challenging task, where the rest of the world just melts away, time totally disappears, and your performance absolutely peaks. Think of a musician completely losing track of time, or a coder cracking a complex algorithm after hours of immersion. But here is the catch. Flow absolutely requires deep work.
It simply cannot be achieved, and it definitely cannot survive in a state of fragmented attention. If you want the incredible satisfaction of flow, you have to eliminate the distractions.
Section 4, Designing a Deep Life. It's time to shift our practical mindset so we can structurally reboot our approach to work and ruthlessly protect our focus. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between an any benefit approach and a craftsman approach. The typical distracted worker falls into the any benefit trap. They adopt every new app, social platform, or communication tool just because it might offer some minor hypothetical benefit. It's that whole, I should probably be on this platform just in case mentality. But the craftsman? They operate completely differently. The craftsman identifies only the core activities that create real value. They evaluate their tools strictly based on whether they serve those core activities, and they ruthlessly protect their time and attention from absolutely everything else. This craftsman mindset perfectly connects to the concept of deliberate practice. Newport points to the incredible research of Anders Ericsson here. Ericsson's studies show that elite performance in absolutely any domain, whether it's chess, playing the violin, writing software, you name it, it's not primarily a product of innate talent. Actually, scratch that, it's rarely just talent. Instead, it is the direct result of deliberate practice. That means sustained, focused, high-quality practice directed at specific areas of improvement. You need unwavering focus. You simply cannot engage in deliberate practice while keeping one eye on your smartphone or casually refreshing your email. Which leads us to a surprisingly precise and kinda ironic number, 4 hours. We live in this hustle culture, right? A culture that completely glorifies the 14-hour workday, grinding away until midnight. But according to Newport's research, 4 hours is actually the daily capacity limit for intense, deep work for most experts. That is the golden metric. The goal isn't to work from dawn until dusk in a state of sheer exhaustion. The goal is to carve out and fiercely protect just 4 hours of genuine, completely focused, cognitively demanding deep work. So ask yourself, what would you be capable of producing if you protected 4 hours of genuine deep work every single day? Imagine replacing the fragmented, interrupted, constantly available version of your working life with 4 uninterrupted hours dedicated strictly to the things that actually matter. Most people never find out what they're truly capable of, not because they lack the ability, but simply because they never protect the time. And this brings us to the emotional and philosophical core of this entire explainer. A deep life is a good life. Deep work is not just some clever corporate hack to get through your to-do list faster. The ability to go deep, to immerse yourself completely in a single difficult thing, that is one of the primary sources of meaning, satisfaction, and genuine accomplishment available to us. It's how we build a life we're actually proud of. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. What is the one cognitively demanding activity in your work or maybe your creative life that would benefit most from sustained, deep attention? Take a second to identify it. Think about the incredible value you could create if you just gave it the focus it deserves. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Now, do yourself a favor, shut down your notifications, close those extra tabs, and go do some deep work.